Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. 252 Rebuilds. Start of a new project. We're going to rebuild a side porch deck on our house. I'm not a woodworker, so this is going to be a learning experience, but we have one to go by to start with. So it'll give me a way to be able to look at it and see. If you can tell in the pictures it is bad. They've been on the house since the house was new. We got a bunch of work we're getting ready to start doing on it anyway. So this is just a place to start. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what we got going on. All right, as you can see, it's just a little 6 steps up to the house, side door. It's in pretty bad shape, but it's old. I mean, this thing's 27 years old now. So it's time for replacement. We're just gonna do the exact same thing off of this. I wanted to put a deck off the side of it, but the shop's gonna go somewhere over here to the left, and I'm not sure how we're gonna do that yet. We might just come back and build a deck later, but for now we got to get steps on it. We are gonna do all 3 decks on the house, the one on the front, the one on the back, and this one right here, these little steps. But this is just something to kind of get us going on it. Like I said, I'm not a woodworker by no means. But I think if I take this thing apart, it'll give me kind of an indication of where and what I need to do. So I'll have patterns to go off of. So here we go. We're gonna start taking this thing apart. Hopefully we're gonna do the deck this weekend or the steps this weekend, but we'll see. It's like everything else, you get started on it and get 19 things get done in your favor. Now these are not concreted in the ground, and that's why the posts are actually coming apart like they are. It's not the way it should have been done when we had the house put up, but we didn't pay people, you know, we didn't do the decks. We paid people when we did the house to do them. So you get what you pay for. But when we go back together this time, it will be concreted in the ground, so those posts will never rust again. There will be pressure treated lumber going back on it, and it will be stained like it's supposed to. But we'll see. All right, I'm gonna put the phone down for a little bit. I'm gonna get some work done. We'll be back to you. All right, guys, it don't take long, especially when everything's rotten. That pole come up whole. That one did not. And it's only buried 8 inches, 10 inches in the ground. That's not right. It should be at least 16 inches. But between here, outside to outside, is 46 inches all the way down. So that's where we're going back with. We got to get the poles loose here so we can get them out of the ground. We got to get these steps away from the wall, from the house, and then pull them out so we know what to do. We're going to use them as a pattern to get the new ones done. All in all, not too bad. If I copy this pattern right here, that should give me the correct rise. And what I'm going to do down there on the bottom, I believe I'm going to dig this out a little bit. I'm going to either put rock back in there, or I might fill it in with some sand or some stepping stones. I don't know yet. Something's going to happen though. But we are going to concrete these posts back in the ground, at least a little bit anyway. So, all right, let me get the rest of it done. We'll get back to you. All right, one little thing to think about. See where that board is? That's where the next one's going to have to run. All right, let's get this one down. All right, demolition is done. And it took about 15 minutes. Bet it don't go back together that easy. But this is where we're starting at right here. All right, get back to you. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. On the way to Lowe's to get some lumber. Just gonna get a couple of pieces. I need some 4x4s and I need some 2x4s. That way I can get the frame set out on. I got to get the holes dug in the ground. We're gonna get the base of it set up first, get it concreted in, let it sit over the next couple of days or day or two. Let that get good and hard, and then we're gonna actually start building the base of it. So y'all stay with me. I'll be back when I get back to the house and start getting some work done. I'll see you shortly. Alright, we're back at it. Went to Lowe's, got some wood, and I didn't film any putting this together. This thing is aggravating when you by yourself. Now what we did was I created an inside frame. None of this stuff will stay up, but I'm just using this to actually put the concrete in to hold the poles. Once we build the steps itself, then it'll actually create the bond that's needed to hold them solid and true and level. But each pole is pretty level. It's off a little bit, but like I said, when we build the rest of the steps, we can pull it back together with that and she'll be perfect. We did go down a good little distance on each one of the holes. And as I mentioned before, I am not a carpenter. Can't, never have, but I'm learning. Hey, I'm gonna concrete them in. I got some ready-crete. And this is kind of what we're duplicating. I didn't buy anything else other than this stuff right here to get this done today. I want to let that harden up before I do anything else. So, all right, I'm gonna mix up some, rip the bags open, dump them in there, and then soak them down with some water. So I'll get back to you shortly. All right, we're back. Concrete is down. All 4 holes, I've already packed it. Now all we gotta do is just let it set. Now in case you're wondering, yes, the poles are about 3 foot too high, but we'll cut them down when we get to it. I ain't ready to cut them yet. But it's level. What little bit ain't level, I can do it when I put the steps on it, it'll pull it around. So next step's gonna be the steps. All right, I'll get back to you when we get a little more done. I gotta let this sit for a day or two to dry out real good. Then we'll check our level again and make sure, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'll see you shortly. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, 252 Rebuilds. Back on the steps. I didn't film any of this. Man, dude, I'm gonna tell you what, boy, I give props to all the carpenters in the world, because this stuff ain't easy. I've got these stair risers done. I made 3 of them, followed the old pattern, which was over there. I did have one that was left. They fit. I'm actually got to put the board right here up against the house where the old one was, level that, and then we're gonna put the steps down, level them, and screw them to it. So far so good. I think she's gonna come out pretty decent. Sorry I haven't recorded a whole lot of this. Like I said, I am not a carpenter by no trade. I have no clue what I'm doing, but they're there, they're built, and they fit. So that's a win. I'm gonna consider that any day. All right, let me get a little more done. I'll get back to you. All right, steps are set. They're screwed to the house. I went down here and leveled a little bit better right here, so they're level for the most part. And it could be the cuts that I did on it, but it's not exactly level, but it's gonna be good enough to ride. Dude, I think I did pretty good not knowing what I'm doing. All right, let's get back to work. All right, welcome back. Had to go make a parts run. Now I got to space the boards up. Obviously they're not sitting where they're supposed to be. A couple of them are, but not many of them. This gap right here, this board's gonna sit on top of this one, so that'll bring this up, and that'll let that slide back in, and the next one will sit flush. It'll sit kind of like this one's doing. See how this sits flush? Be a little gap up here. I got to get my gap straight, but no big deal. And that's how she's gonna work. Not bad for a guy who can't do anything like this. We'll do the rails at another point in time. I think I'm gonna put this video out just like it is now. It ain't gonna be a long one, but just to show you what's going on. Yeah, we got a lot done today. Got what I wanted to get done. Didn't get none of the boat done, but oh well, it'll be all right. We got to clean up this mess around here anyway. All right. I might show you one more time once I get all of them screwed down. All right, I'll see you shortly. All right, guys, welcome back. We're gonna end this video here. I'll show you what we've done so far, but this will be part 1. It had to tear down in most of the build. The only thing we got left to do is the railing. Like I said, I'm not a wood person. I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a builder, but I think they turn out pretty good considering. To buy one was about $600, and to get somebody to come over here and do it was about $800. So, and I got probably $300 in it right now. I'll take that as a win. All right, let me flip the camera around. All right, all the steps are down. They're tight. Now, what I'm gonna do with the bars, the poles, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do railing wise first, and then I'll cut them. But I think I'm gonna cut them flat, and I'm gonna cut them a little above, you know, like here, you know, whatever the height is. But I'm gonna cut them, and then I'm gonna put me some nice decorative balls or lights or something on top of them just to make it look better. That bar that's right there, that's gonna come out from under that. That was put in there to brace. But everything is solid and sturdy. I've walked up it. I left some gaps in it. That way water has somewhere to go and don't sit right there on top of it. Here's the railings that I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do railings like this or if I'm gonna do something different, but that'll be something I got to plan out. I've cleaned up everything. We went from this to this. I'll call that a win. All right, guys, y'all get off the couch, go do something. Live some dreams, make some memories. Hold your family tight, because you only got one chance. When you're gone, you're gone. All right, bud, we'll see you later. Y'all be good. Peace.